Get unlimited access to all of our CPE courses at www.teachucomp.com/unlimited CPE.
In this lesson, we will examine the rules associated with identifying care providers. In order to claim the credit for child and dependent care expenses, a taxpayer must identify all persons or organizations that provide care to the qualifying person. When identifying a care provider, a taxpayer must use Form 2441, Part 1. The taxpayer must give the provider's name, address, and taxpayer identification number, or TIN. If the care provider is an individual, the TIN is usually the provider's Social Security number. In some cases, an individual care provider may use an individual TIN. If the care provider is an organization, the taxpayer must provide the organization's employer identification number, or EIN. If the care provider is a tax-exempt organization, such as a church or school, the taxpayer may write tax-exempt in the space where the tax form calls for the number. If a taxpayer does not know the provider's TIN or EIN, he or she may use Form W-10, Dependent Care Provider's Identification and Certification, to request the information from the care provider. If the taxpayer does not wish to use Form W-10, he or she must request copies of other documents from the care provider, such as a letter from the provider showing the information or a copy of the provider's completed W-4. In a circumstance where a taxpayer is living abroad, care providers may not be required to have a TIN. Taxpayers should keep copies of all documents that identify a provider. If the provider refuses to give the taxpayer the information requested by Form 2441, the taxpayer must report whatever information is available, such as the provider's name and address. In the space on the form which calls for unknown information, the taxpayer should write "See attached statement." The taxpayer must then attach a statement explaining that the information has been requested from the provider but was not supplied. The taxpayer must attach his or her name and Social Security number to the statement and file it with Form 2441. Taxpayers must use due diligence in gathering and keeping provider information, and such attached statements can show diligence. Let's take a look at review question number 13. Which of the following would not be considered sufficient information to identify a care provider on Form 2441? A. Name, address, and a Social Security number if the care provider is an individual. B. Name, address, and the employer identification number if the care provider is a business. C. Name, address, and tax-exempt if the care provider is a nonprofit organization. Or D. Name, address, and passport number if the care provider is a resident alien or non-U.S. citizen. The answer is D. A passport number is not considered sufficient care provider information. Non-U.S. citizens must provide either an employment authorization document number or a Social Security number as part of care provider information.
Like what you see? Get unlimited access to all of our CPE courses at www.teachucomp.com/unlimited CPE.